Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Well, the Red River is again on the rise following storms which dropped as much as 7 inches of rain in parts of northwest Louisiana.
Rains which fell in Arkansas are also causing problems as the water travels downstream. As TWILA's Carl Wiggers shows us, the Red River at Coshada is expected to crest 6 feet above flood stage, causing crops and pastures to go underwater for the 3rd time this year.
A few miles north of Coshada, Blake McCartney looks out over his field that is almost completely underwater.
And now that the river's back in it again.
McCartney has nearly 100 acres here that he needs to plant, but he can't do that when it looks like this. Unfortunately for Blake, there's more water on the way.
As the red is coming up, it's pushing in. We're still, right now, we're 3 or 4 days away from the crest, so the ground that you see out will probably end up completely submerged.
This field that's underwater isn't the only result of the flooding. Thanks to flooding earlier this year, McCartney also has corn that was planted at 3 different times in this same field.
We've got original planting that survived. We've got what was planted a week behind that, and then we've got the replant that was 3 weeks behind that. So it's going to be fun harvesting it.
Fun may not be the word that he uses later on this summer when it comes time for harvest. The reality is McCartney and farmers all across the state have a tough road ahead. However high this water climbs, McCartney will take on the challenge so that he can keep doing what he loves.
It's hard, but you know, that's what we do, and these aren't the days that we love about it, but overall farming is what we love and it's what we want to do and hope to be able to continue doing.
McCartney is not the only farmer along the Red River impacted by this flooding. Many ranchers who just got their cattle settled back on their land after being displaced from the flooding earlier in March are having to move them to higher ground all over again. And you guys, it's the same story week after week. I mean, farmers all across Louisiana just have too much water on the place.
You know, we as reporters kind of get tired of covering something like this, but we only experience it for a day, you know, whenever we go out there. You know, for your dad, Scott, for you, Kristen, and your husband, Landon, this is your livelihood. This is your life. This is water on the field in Monterey.
I know every week when we do stories on this, we talk about, you know, in Neil's bottom line, it's kind of almost like a gut-sinking feeling because it's hitting home for us because this is, you know, this is our livelihood, and it does make for good news the first few weeks because it's exciting, it's something different. Landon always says that weathermen love for it to get bad because it makes for good news, but it's really scary when you think about when are we going to be able to get these beans in the ground, for us at least.
I mean, for me, every time I call home, talk to Dad, you know, check on the family, it's always got some kind of a weather report somewhere in there, and right now it's just water every week.
Well, we'll just keep praying for some better weather. Thank you very much, Carl Wiggers. Despite all of the damage caused by flooding along the Red River, Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain says it is not likely farmers and ranchers will get additional help from the federal government.
Already there are presidential and secretarial disaster declarations for all of the parishes along the Red River impacted by flooding. That opens the door for the Farm Service agencies to offer low-interest emergency loans to farmers and ranchers. Strain says outside of that and emergency provisions in the Farm Bill, it's not likely Congress will allocate money to go directly to the men and women who grow the food we eat.
In Washington, under the rules now, there are no earmarks. And so, you know, either if you have crop insurance or you have NAP, that is there. And of course, we will work to get a secretarial declaration of disaster. But under like the ELAP program, right, this is the emergency program for livestock, and that only has $20 million in it nationwide in a year. And so the monies are very, very limited.
As for any help coming from the state, Strain says that's even less likely. That's because the Louisiana legislature is already trying to fill a $600 million budget hole. Because of that, the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry is facing another $2 million budget cut for next fiscal year.
Now, just because there is no help coming from the state, that does not mean there is not help for ranchers who are once again having to move cattle. The Louisiana Farm Bureau's Hay Clearinghouse is stepping up once again to help cattlemen who need hay because of the flooding. Farmers and ranchers from as far away as Houston, Texas donated more than 5,000 bales of hay. The problem has been transporting that hay to where it is needed. Thanks to a generous donation from Land O'Lakes Incorporated, that hay is being trucked to cattlemen who are still waiting on spring pasture growth. With the Red River reaching flood stage in several areas, many cattle pastures may be flooded once again, delaying pasture growth until early summer. To learn more about the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Hay Clearinghouse, visit our website at twilatv.org.
Water is not only causing problems in the north, but in the south as well. Louisiana stands to lose 1,000 square miles of land by coastal land loss by the year 2050. That's according to the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana. That's why the CRCL is looking for volunteers to help with coastal restoration projects. One project we've told you about on TWILA is the oyster shell recycling program. That's where old oyster shells from restaurants are used to create reefs in along the coast. This group plans to sink many of these shells in October. In about a week, volunteers will gather in Vermilion Parish to plant marsh grass along Freshwater Bayou. CRCL spokesman Jimmy Frederick says the health of Louisiana's coast is important to agriculture and the economic health of the entire state.
It's important for the folks in Shreveport or Alexandria or Monroe to have the economy that we have, but it's also important for us as Louisianians to have Louisiana. And that means the culture and our way of life and the things that we love about Louisiana are going to disappear if we allow coastal land loss, the crisis, to continue.
Frederick says the coalition will also hold its 4th State of the Coast Conference in New Orleans. The difference this year is there will be a special event for people like you and me who are not directly involved in coastal restoration. To learn more about the Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana, visit our website at twilatv.org.
The fog of reality TV show stardom can often trip up even the most well-intentioned personality. However, in the case of Ducote, the former Next Food Network star contestant remains true to his passion for food. The longtime food blogger, chef, radio personality, and newly minted TV star has big plans to enrich the Louisiana food scene. This week, TWILA's AJ Sabine introduces us to Ducote, who shares with us how Louisiana agriculture anchors the DNA of his cuisine.
Jay Ducote's small kitchen resembles a laboratory of sorts.
He's going to be able to render down so much lard.
It's usually where he experiments with new recipes. Today, Jay and I work out his famous smoked pork shoulder tacos. It's a real treat to watch the former Food Network star make flavor magic. Ducote explains how it felt to have the whole nation watch him on the Food Network.
It's really a great competition where they're out to find talent for the network, and they're out to figure out who can have the job. The prize at the end is that you get your own show on Food Network. And so I was able to take it, all the way to the very end, being very true to myself and my Louisiana roots, and talking about tailgating and talking about growing up hunting and fishing.
Ducote's Louisiana roots shape his cuisine because of his connection with farmers and ranchers here in the Pelican State.
Louisiana certainly has a rich culinary culture that comes from the agriculture that we produce here, the seafood that we harvest, the growing plains that we have in this state. And you see that connection still to this day through the food that we eat, through the crops that we grow, the sweet potatoes and the sugar cane and the rice ponds, and then you look at crawfish and everything like that. You see that really get embodied in our cuisine.
I joined Chef Jay at the work table to roll out scratch-made tortilla dough.
There you go. How about that?
That's beautiful.
Isn't that great?
That's perfect.
That's a square circle.
That's gonna work.
All right, you show me again because I'm not good at that.
Oh, no worries. I'm just learning as I go.
I don't believe you. Look at that. Look at the technique. I like how you got the open wrists. I like that you're using your shoulders.
Yeah.
Are you crunching your abs while you do that?
A little bit. It's a full body workout here.
I'm trying to understand, man.
Full body workout.
They may be ugly, but I'm sure they'll be tasty. Fantastic. Where do we go from here? This is the Giants skillet,
on the burner. Yeah, well, we got some pulled pork to heat up.
Pulled pork?
Yeah, buddy.
I didn't know it was my birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay Ducote.
This is Iverson Family Farms pork shoulder. So some local pork that we smoked
Great.
For about 12 hours, a little bit of pecan wood. These candy stripe beets will look pretty awesome on the tacos.
Jay brings the pork up to temperature, which smells heavenly, by the way, and adds his not-so-secret barbecue sauce.
You know what it looks like?
What's that?
2 turntables and a microphone.
Where's that?
After we toast up the tortillas, it's time to get down on these tacos.
See, folks, the secret to Jay Ducote's food is pork. It's always a pork fat thing. Trust me, I know.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna get a little bit of pulled pork here with the barbecue sauce. Let's load you up good.
Thank you. You know what I like, Chef.
We're gonna drizzle a little bit more barbecue sauce on there.
There you go.
That's a drizzle. Little taco experiments now. There we go.
All right.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Thank you, Jay.
Oh, wow. Oh, I guess the job done.
Love the sauce. You weren't lying about that little back bite at the end in the sauce. I like the pickle. You can't have barbecue without pickle.
Man.
Jay Ducote, thank you so much for allowing This Week in Louisiana Agriculture in your lovely food lab. And this is really excellent, and we want to say thank you.
You bet. Glad you like it.
And we want to wish you all the best and more success in the future.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you.
You got the best job in the world, folks. In addition to his barbecue sauce line, Ducote plans to expand his brand to Government Taco, a taco restaurant set to open in 2017 in the White Star Market right here in Baton Rouge. And Kristen, Avery, I want to tell you what a fascinating guy this is. To come so far from all the way from 11 competitors to number 2 is pretty impressive.
Oh, I just like how personable he is. I mean, has been from the start. And his love for food, it's beyond just the consumption. He likes to get the stories behind and the why.
The culture.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
You two connected really well.
We really did, and you know, he was gracious enough to allow us to be on his radio program, which was fascinating, and he invited me to go on a tequila tasting, which I could not refuse.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing your report from the tequila tasting once you sober up.
Huh?
Thanks, AJ Sabine.
Moving on, in order for there to be a next generation of farmers and ranchers, children must first learn about agriculture.
It's the mission of the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Ag in the Classroom program to give teachers the tools they need to incorporate agriculture into every subject. One teacher who does that extraordinarily well is Vicki Mayu at Cottonport Elementary. She's the 2016 AITC Teacher of the Year.
Y'all, we are doing a harvest. You're harvesting your carrots.
It's the culmination of a growing season at Cottonport Elementary for these pre-kindergarten students.
Look how many I got.
Quantity
Got mine.
and quality are both appreciated by teacher Vicki Mayu.
Wow, good, Tony.
Because she knows agriculture helps fill their minds and bellies like the carrots do this bowl.
Little children at this age are like sponges. They learn and they love to do, and to me, this is the way to do it.
Back in the classroom, the children get hands-on with another ongoing project.
How did he get on your shoulder? He climbed.
Raising chickens.
Raise your hand to tell me something they need.
These chicks represent the second generation of hens and roosters raised in the class. While these children are the youngest at the school, they're setting an example for others.
It's been very exciting. The kids have learned so much, and it's not just been in our class. We have spread it out through the whole school. Older grades have come. The 4-H club has come in here, which they can say, hey, we can do a chicken project.
She worked herself to earn money to purchase the child-size gloves and the little child-size gardening tools. So that's some type of commitment that she has to children and agriculture.
Charlotte Morks is the Avoyelles Parish Ag in the Classroom chair. She says she knew Mayu would be the State Ag in the Classroom Teacher of the Year the moment they met.
I think it comes natural from her that she has such enthusiasm for her students and for agriculture in general.
I was flabbergasted and absolutely thrilled. And as a teacher with what's going on in the state of Louisiana, sometimes it's kind of hard to stay excited, but that just thrilled me and just gave me such a boost.
Oh, come back here.
Mayu hopes the activities in her classroom will do more than educate her students, but their parents as well.
We need to teach the masses that farmers want healthy food and safe food just as much as anybody else, but you also have to be realistic about how you go about this. What is possible, what is not possible.
As part of the award, Mayu received an iPad and an all-expense-paid trip to the National Ag in the Classroom Conference.
This year, that conference will be extra special for Louisiana because longtime Louisiana Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee Chair Denny Email is the National AITC's Ag Advocate of the Year. Aside from growing sugarcane, Email also runs the Fast Food Farm, a 2.5-acre site where more than 75,000 children learned about what it takes to grow all of the food we eat.
Congratulations to both Mayu and Email for the well-deserved honors.
The Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmer and Ranchers play a big role in ag in the classroom. One major way is by raising money for the program.
This is the 5th year for the Young Farmers and Ranchers to host their youth livestock show in Alexandria. Outside of the show ring, the YFNR sold t-shirts and raffle tickets to raise money for the Ag in the Classroom program and for scholarships. Inside the show ring, 125 young people brought nearly 230 calves to compete for the top prize. This year's registration saw a significant increase in both exhibitors and livestock, adding around 25 new participants and 30 more animals. Family, friends, as well as Farm Bureau Queen Bailey Fournier watched as the young livestock enthusiasts put their best foot forward to present their cattle. YFNR Committee Vice Chair John Compton was excited to see so many young people enjoying themselves at this year's show and expects the event to continue to grow.
We're actually considering changes and things next year because we're kind of outgrowing a single-day show. It's very good to be able to have young people come, not only to be involved in livestock, but agriculture in general, and to also give them a glimpse into Farm Bureau and what YFNR does on a statewide level.
Planning for next year's show is already underway. The YFNRs are considering moving to a 2-day event next year to accommodate for the increase in participation.
Great that that show is getting so big.
It is. The show ring needs to get bigger too if they're going to have Brahman cattle, right?
That's a long story. Still to come on TWILA, another wet week online as we find out in our Trending on TWILA segment.
Stay with us.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are.
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
Farming is my way of life. I chose this career, but farming chose me.
A lot of people ask you what you do, and I tell them I'm a farmer.
I'm a cattleman.
I am a fisherman.
I'm a scientist.
I'm a steward of the land.
I am a farm woman.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am Farm Bureau.
I'm a Farm Bureau.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
In our Trending on TWILA segment, wet weather is once again a popular topic on social media.
As Carl Wiggers showed you earlier in the show, farmers are dealing with another week of heavy rain and wet fields.
On the Southern Farming Facebook group, farmers posted photos of muddy fields and the farm damage from last week's storms.
Les Brown posted these aerial photos with the caption, "What 6.75 inches of rain leaves behind." Here you can see where gale force winds also damaged his ditches along the field.
Ben Watts shared this photo of a water tank in the middle of his cornfield. He said the wind picked it up and dropped it 200 feet from its original location.
Spencer Agronomy posted this photo of 2 fans on the edge of a soaked field with the caption, "Should be good to go in a couple of days." The photo has been shared more than 19,000 times on Facebook this week alone.
I saw it on Gene Adolph's page. Tuesday, May 3rd was National Teacher Appreciation Day, and people were posting photos and statuses across social media to show their support for ag teachers.
Ag Foundation tweeted, "Teachers plant the seeds of knowledge that grow forever."
The Farm to School organization tweeted, "We're grateful for the teachers who educate kids about agriculture, food, health, and nutrition." And I tell you what, I didn't have ag teachers in New Iberia, but I did have some great teachers overall.
Who was your favorite teacher?
Oh my God, it's tough to name a favorite. I mean, Brenda Prejean in 2nd grade is up there. Toby Daspit in my 11th grade year, who I'm still friends with, and we probably still get together a little more often than we should. Karen Ladd-Moreau, English teacher, my 10th grade year. Those were all people who inspired me to follow my dream of writing for a living and doing these sorts of things. What about you?
Well, and I know that it sounds terrible because she's my mother, but my mother was my 12th grade English teacher. And even though she was my mother, she was the best teacher. She made literature and English come alive, and so she's a great teacher. And since this weekend's Mother's Day, that's a double shout out to her, a great teacher and a great mom.
Way to kiss up.
It's true. Well, now moving on to this week's TWILA Trivia. Last week I asked you, which of the following takes the longest amount of time to break down? And the correct answer is B, a plastic 6-pack holder. This week's trivia question is, on average, how many hours do teachers work per week? A, 40 hours, B, 52 hours, or C, 60 hours. To enter this week's trending trivia contest, simply log on to your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TWILATrivia, or you can always submit your answer on our website at twilatv.org.
Still to come on TWILA, we get the bottom line on why grain prices are as high as they are.
Stay with us.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Hey Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way. Hey guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming. We're going biking. Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Recently, Unfortunately, the grain markets have hit highs we haven't seen in quite some time. With soybeans around $10 a bushel and corn around $5, you've got to wonder what's going on.
Joining us now for this week's Bottom Line is Neil Melancon. And Neil, is this the start to higher trends for the grains?
Nope, and that's all I've got. That's the bottom line. See you guys next week.
Okay, thank you very much, Neil Melancon. Well,
I'm kidding.
I'm going to let you finish.
I'm kidding. Thank you for letting me finish. The real bottom line is, if this is, it shouldn't be. If we really lived in a world where the price of grain and the actual amount of grain out there had a direct relationship, beans and corn would be $1 less than where they are right now. It's pretty hard to really wrap your brain around it, but that's what investment speculators do to the market, and we are in a huge bubble in the grains especially, where they are just betting on grain supply and future acreage numbers to be both lower, not one or the other, both. For instance, $10 soybeans are relying on 5% less beans in the supply right now, and not one single more acre than what is currently being projected. That's just one example of how crazy these markets are, and we really haven't even gotten to one real acreage report from the USDA yet. In fact, we won't have any real solid numbers until June. It is certainly true that weather could come in and wreck this year. We've had a lot of rain in Louisiana, for instance, and that will certainly displace some of those corn acres. However, it is also plausible that those corn acres will be replanted into beans. Then we'd have every bit as much grain as before, and it's entirely possible instead of 5% less soybeans, we'd have 5% more than what we're anticipating now. The bottom line is, farmers may benefit from $10 soybeans, and they certainly deserve every penny they can get from whatever crop they grow. The problem is, as this market crashes, it will crash hard, and farmers who either haven't booked or have more grain to sell will be left short-handed. And Kristen, I know what you're getting ready to tell me. You know, why at $10 soybeans do I want them at $9? And that's not true. I don't want them less. What I want is a more stable market. And the problem is that, you know, next year, let's say we have this huge abundance of grain. The prices are going to crash on farmers. We're down, you know, big time. You go to your bank as a farmer and you say, I'd like to, you know, have 500 more acres and the money for that, and I'm betting on a bubble to happen to bump prices up. What do you think the banks are going to say? And so that's why we've got to have this increased stability. And what I'd really like to see is just all of this spec money just come out of the markets.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Okay. Last week you came in my office and you said, beans are $10. You need to call Landon.
Book them.
And tell him to book them. So I not only called Landon, I called his father, and I said, Neil Melancon, the grain wizard, says that you need to book all of your beans.
Did they book them?
His dad said he did, but I don't believe that he booked all of them. But I'm sure he booked a lot of them. So if by chance that price goes to $15 by some miracle of God, they're going to hold me accountable, into which case I'm going to hold you accountable.
Okay, well, let me tell you two things. One, I hope they did. And two, you know, if it does go to $15, odds are that a weather disaster is going to wipe them out anyway. So that's what it's going to take in order to make it that high. And, you know, it's just that bubble that we've got to avoid. I mean, you know, because if the real odds are is that they could go down to $5, and then what?
I'm telling you what, the bottom line brought to you by this little ray of sunshine. Every week.
Well, Neil, regardless, I have a life insurance policy on you now.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you, buddy.
Split it between you and Sherry.
Thanks a lot, Neil Melancon.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we take you back to the state capitol, where young farmers and ranchers from across the state see their government in action.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online on our website, twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.